No matter if you've played FIFA for 1, 5, or 20 years, you'll be well aware that EA's reputation for removing fan-favorite features over the course of the franchise's history is notorious, to say the least.
That's it, brother. That's the way it is, cuz. That's how it is on the streets, brother.
A genuine creative idea? Gone. A feature everyone enjoyed and actually played? Thrown in the gulag for eternity. Or here's the worst kind, get this. When they remove a feature only to repackage it years later to add into a future installment, not only using it as a key selling point, but expecting to get praised for it. Like here guys, look, we added back Create a Club. My brother in Christ, I could create a club on FIFA 07 and FIFA 10 on the Nintendo DS. The bar is in hell for EA, and today is no different, as I'll be covering even more removed features from over the years that I didn't get around to last time. Consider this the deluxe edition, the sequel to that video, and I really did miss some big ones off that first initial list, like for real. So let me know what your favorite removed feature is down in the comments below, and which one would you bring back for FC25? But you know which company doesn't like removing fan-favorite features every year? The iconic NordVPN. With their world-class pristine VPN service, the power is back in your hands. Don't be that guy that misses their favorite region-locked content on streaming, whether they're at home, on the go, traveling, or just living in one of the worst countries ever to watch football in.
Brother,
So for me, in order to watch my beloved Frosinone next season, I'm gonna have to connect to Italian servers every weekend. But besides sport, be flexible and access alternate streaming libraries or country-exclusive websites to access special deals and offers from around the globe. With Nord installed, you're just one click away from being safe and protected online. Sidestep your way past nasty malware when downloading new files with Threat Protection Pro and their built-in dark web monitor. Secure online protection is as guaranteed as Harry Kane not winning any trophies, so you're in good hands. This special deal also includes 20 gigabytes of Saily esim data, which comes in handy when you're traveling and becomes more clutch than own goals at the Euros. I wish I knew about this sooner, because it would have saved me so much money whilst traveling recently. Here I was on my 70-day European summer vacation, paying $5 a day for mobile roaming data. The fastest VPN on the market is available on all devices, and you can use up to 10 at a time under one account. No need to fear, Nord come through with a 30-day money-back guarantee if you aren't satisfied, so really, there's nothing to lose. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment to get yourselves 4 months extra on a 2-year plan, plus 20 gigabytes of Saily esim data when you use my code BCHD at checkout. Thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Now, back to the action, baby. Now, to kick things off, we'll go with one of the most recently removed features, if not game modes, the infamous VOLTA football. Originally added in FIFA 20 to kind of rebrand FIFA Street, it was set up as this big revolutionary new game mode that everyone was gonna play. It was a center key piece of the marketing when EA was promoting FIFA 20, hell, even FIFA 21, they were really trying to push this as the next big thing. But in reality, they pretty much failed in trying to recapture that FIFA Street magic when it came to the modes within VOLTA, when it came to the actual gameplay, when it came to crap like this with microtransactions and battle passes and season passes. To be honest, it felt like a cash grab. Like, they just literally pushed this just so they could sell more cosmetics and more items and more accessories that were literally only VOLTA exclusive. Like, you couldn't use any of these in any other game mode, which was never really how it used to work back in the day. Like, once you unlocked something in FIFA, like in the good old days, you were able to use it and transfer it across game modes. Kickoff, career mode, it was unlocked throughout the entire game, and now they kind of just heavily focused on these like VOLTA packages, I guess. These seasonal drops, as they like to call them, and they've just put so much work and effort into this mode, and it's just fallen flat on its face. They tried to revive it with a bit of Pro Clubs integration in the past couple installments, breaking it off into seasons, copying the Fortnite formula, actually doing some decent innovation when it came to like the game modes. They added this cool little arcade mode where there was all these different types of party games you could play with your friends, solo battles, teaming up with squads. It was starting to become a full packaged experience if they actually managed to get the gameplay right, or if you could actually play offline instead of like trying to find a game, because one, if you haven't got any friends, it's kind of a little bit of a lose-lose situation. But yeah, EA after 3-4 years have kind of just given up on their new baby. They tried making it a thing, but yeah, they've just given up on it. FC 25 will not have any signs of VOLTA in it whatsoever. Say goodbye to your VOLTA arcade, to your Virtual Pro, as they've kind of rebranded and repackaged it with the 5v5 rush mode spread across every single game mode. I don't really know how to feel about it because VOLTA was its own little exclusive thing. So it kind of could have lived in its own little pocket, its own little ecosystem within the FC25, but they just decided to can it. They didn't want to put any more resources into it. But it's kind of sad that not even just features, but any of your favorite game modes could disappear in the next installment like that. It's a sad reality and another fact we have to face when it comes to modern gaming. Yeah, it was kind of like a mix of my player career slash pro clubs joined into one with online elements. You've got your five-a-side dream team that you slowly build up throughout your playtime, I guess. You can upgrade them, you could buy better players, and they actually had a decent creator club selection of badges which aren't available in actual creator club, which I've ranted about before, but still you can see the concepts, you can see the ideas at play here. There was something special deep within this mode, but no one seemed to appreciate it slash cared, and I don't think we'll see it back anytime soon. I guess people have heard the news that VOLTA's getting deleted from FC25, so they want to get their last little fix in. I don't blame them, to be honest. You don't really know what you've got till it's gone. You get these like mini games and arcade type arenas where you and your friends could just, you know, have a fun, casual night of chaos. But again, this game mode would have died anyways, because in a couple years' time, the servers will be shut down and you won't be able to play any of this. So I guess EA have kind of given it a fast, painless death. I don't really think too many people are going to miss it. It's kind of sad. Just kind of seems like a little bit of a waste of time. I don't know. We had to hear about VOLTA for the past 4 years, only for you to go on and delete it and just forget it ever was a thing with this new rush mode that they're going to like just jam into the marketing of FC25. But there were some ideas here. There was some cool like concepts and like, you know, these random arenas, these random mini games that we've never really seen before, these like social skill games, if you will. And I remember in like FIFA 20, even FIFA 21, that like VOLTA had like an offline story mode that you could complete and like build up your team offline. Now that just doesn't seem to be the case, and there's no offline modes whatsoever, so you can't even access any of that. It's strictly become online only and transformed into a live service hellhole. But it just doesn't feel like FIFA Street whatsoever. Like, you don't feel skillful, doesn't make you excited to play with fun, silky skills. It just feels like you're playing a normal game of FC24 on a small pitch. I feel like the only way I would have appreciated VOLTA is that if all the cosmetics and accessories like these tattoos came to like player career and manager career. But yeah, just wasted opportunities, wasted potential, and I guess VOLTA can officially be confirmed as a failure. We're going to be exploring titles from past and present in FIFA, so buckle up for a bit of a nostalgia trip here, as we're going to jump back in time and revisit memory lane. Looking over at my notes, I've got a pretty extensive list here to cover, so we're going to fly through these as we are back on FIFA 21 for the first time in a while. One of my favorite recent FIFAs, I guess, if you can categorize it as that. I do miss that purpley pink vibe aesthetic going on, but we're not here to cover that. We are here to talk about a career mode feature that was a staple for the next 2-3 iterations of the game. It was homegrown talent, one of the pre-order bonuses you'd get, which guaranteed you a pretty high potential superstar waiting for you in your automated youth academy once you started either a manager or player career. You'd get a generational star boy, and it was just a nice little feature to have. If you wanted him, you could sign him up straight away, or if you wanted to keep things realistic and not too easy, you could just either delete him from the game or just release him to the free agents. Really, the power was in your hands, and it was a nice little touch showing that EA actually like put time into a career mode extra, as this was one of the first career modes that you get a fully fleshed out youth academy once you booted up the game, once you started your save. And of course, it depended on where you were managing. So I'm managing in Brazil right now with Fluminense. I'm gonna get a Brazilian wonder kid, and that's exactly what I got here with Felipe dos Santos. For some reason, he is holding a yellow card. Yeah, these homegrown talents sometimes were glitched in this game, but the 16-year-old center-mid CDM cam has potential to be special. Of course, he is from the Brazilian favelas, and he already has some pretty, look, to be honest, these were overpowered. powered. Like 5-star skill moves, 5-star weak foot, high low work rate straight off the bat. They were a godsend. They were going to be in your career for the rest of time. He already has 96 aggression and he is 16, still a teenager, so he could serve you for the entirety of the save, and you could tell they were the homegrown talent because their 2D photo actually had like the team jersey in it. I don't know, it was a cool little feature. It set them apart from the rest. Here's another example, one of my last saves of FIFA 21, Bidschot in Belgium, and of course, once we open up our youth academy, we have got a Belgian superstar waiting for us, Maurice Verstraete. At 6'3", 69 overall, 78 to 74 potential. Left-footed, the only bad thing about him is high defensive work rates, but other than that, you'd pretty much always just sign them straight away. They were first team ready, and especially if you were a smaller team doing a road to glory. I think either in FC 24 or FIFA 23, they just got rid of these for some reason. I don't know why. They introduced coaches into the game, and now you get a 5-star coach for pre-ordering. It doesn't really hit the same, to be honest, and we just want that youth academy love back. So it's yet another season of the homegrown talent not being present in a career mode, and it was definitely a fan favorite feature that we'd love to welcome back anytime. And who else remembers this? It's just the simple things sometimes, but the save button just being one click away. Priceless memories, like so convenient, something so small, but like we still miss it to this day for some reason. Just pressing X, it just never felt better. Now we can transition straight to a feature, the main feature that was removed from FIFA 21, and it was the EA Catalogue. So you know the deal. Next up, it's FIFA 20. Now FIFA 20 defenders rise up, because I swear this game loves to get hated on. It's like one of the most overhated FIFAs, but it was useful. Not only did it introduce VOLTA, but it was the last installment to have the EA Catalogue. And if you're living under a rock, we all know what it was. It was basically just a hub for you to unlock and collect new celebrations, retro kits, match balls, different little items within the game, across all different game modes, across multiple features ranging from cosmetics to boosts to ultimate team rewards. It pretty much benefited every type of player, and you didn't have to use money to actually unlock them. The more you played, the more you gained XP throughout FIFA 20 and on your account, and you could unlock all kinds of things, and it was just something great to work towards because you didn't have to play one certain game mode. But now that the FIFA 20 servers have shut down, we can't really access this anymore, which infuriates me, man. Like, why wasn't this accessible like the retro FIFAs, like FIFA 07, FIFA 08? You can still access the stores and the catalogs on there, but with these new ones, they were all live service based, and that just doesn't really benefit us in the long run. They abandoned the catalog for no good reason in FIFA 21 and kind of repackaged them as like pre-order bonuses. Now that we've recently seen Ultimate Team unlockables with the introduction of retro kits, we actually have to pay money or pay coins to access them, but they're like literally only Ultimate Team exclusive. You can't use them across all game modes like you could back in the day, so don't get me started. I'm gonna go on a 50-minute rant. But yeah, the catalog is something that's dearly missed, especially from the offline crowd, from the career mode type of crowd. We want the catalog back. Like, no one ever wanted it removed in the first place. It's just EA being EA, and it would like kind of spice up your experience. You know, you always see the same kits over and over again, so it was kind of like extra unlockables for the career mode nerds out there. But so now we just have to suffer even more, and now we're jumping back quite a bit, not only just for FIFAs but for console generations too. We're gonna be revisiting FIFA 15 right here, to be considered by many as one of the best games in the franchise, the golden era. But we won't get into that debate right now. What concerns us the most is some career mode features that we haven't seen back ever since, and that is of course the retro squad ranking feature, and of course the glorious injury list, which you can't see right now. Yeah, bam, there it is. I think these got removed back around like FIFA 17, FIFA 18 time, but hey, I just wanted an excuse to revisit FIFA 15 again. But yeah, squad ranking kind of explains itself. It's pretty much your whole entire roster ranked from best to worst based off like their match ratings, their recent performances, their current overall, and it kind of determines like a little bit of a hierarchy, like who's the boss in your team, who's killing it, who's rising to form, who's dipping below par. Gave you just an extra level of analysis and stats to consider. It gave you their previous match performances, their previous match results, like, oh, why has Roberto Firmino risen to 4th from 6th? He jumped 2 spots because in his last game got an 8.9 match rating, 2 assists against Dusseldorf away. But if you're a fan of the channel, a real one, you'll know that these are one of the only 2 career mode features that have been able to be re-added back into the game thanks to the power of mods. So we've seen this before in modded versions of current FIFAs, but console players haven't seen them back in the game for years, and this injury list basically could let you see the entire league, the entire competition, see what players were injured, what players broke what. You could see that Schalke's Kevin Prince Boateng torn his hamstring. Mehdi Benatia torn his quadricep muscle. He's out for 7 weeks. It was just a handy little tool to know what teams had an injury crisis. Were you having an injury crisis? A handy feature that let you spy on your ops. Well, we got too used to it, and nowadays we don't even get that ability anymore. Bro, what was I cooking in this career mode? My 2 Youth Academy stars both have 84 to 94 potential. 15-year-old Brandon was cooking in the lab right here. Anyways, that's besides the point, but another cool little feature from FIFA's gone by was the budget adjustment slider. That was removed back in FIFA 23, and it could let you adjust your wage/transfer budget, which one you want it to be more dominant. If you need to renew a bunch of contracts and needed more wages, you'd pretty much just split the ratio to have more wage budget. You could just play with it as you please, I guess. And something that would never get old, no matter how many times you did it, was the old transfer negotiation system, which was removed in FIFA 18. It was the classic pen and pad. It was the little notebook where you offered in your transfer bids, you submitted your sums like this, and you just sign away, put your little signature, and no cutscenes whatsoever. It was just quick, efficient, and that's how the transfer negotiations were back then. And it was the same for the contracts too. You just have the notebook out, the pen and paper, submit your offer, and just wait for your reply. It was like going back and forth. But over the last couple years, I've seen a lot of people really nostalgic for that feature and like kind of want it to come back. Don't really fancy the long-winded negotiations and the same old animations happening over and over again. It was like the era from FIFA 12 to FIFA 17. That was the main transfer negotiations, and I've started to see a lot of love for it to come back. So let me know down below what you prefer, the negotiation cutscenes or the pen and paper. For me personally, I wish there was an option to do a bit of both, like a toggle of on and off. Do you want the fully immersed cutscenes, or do you want the OG retro method? I really think they should both be in the game. Now, only a year later, in FIFA 16, we were greeted with a feature that would change career mode forever. A highly requested feature, and it was player training. And not just any kind of player training, it was the OG 5-slot player drills, where once a week you could run 5 training drills on 5 different players, or just all on one player. You could go in and customize it. You could handpick and select your bunch of players that you wanted to train up and make overpowered. And then once you had everything all sorted, you could either go in and play the training drills yourself to get the best results, or just simulate one by one, or what I used to do, just simulate all of them and see what happens, see what the results are, stay on top of it. And one of my main strategies was just to put all the Youth Academy players in there, or put one of your best young talents on the roster and just spam the training drills to get his best attributes. You could override the growth system and just accelerate it. I saw players like under 21, they'd go up like plus 10, plus 15 if you just spammed it all on them in one season. It was a crazy growth tool and could create some absolute career mode beasts. Look at this one guy, his value's gone up 300% and we've only hit November. A plus 7 growth already, and he's only been on 2 training drills. They finally got around to introducing new training drills, I think in like FIFA 21, so the kind of 5-slot system was gone. It was still kind of possible in real player career mode. However, in manager career, it was a product of the past, and you actually had to like play the training drills in FIFA 21 to get the best results. And then once you got like A's and B's, it would just automatically simulate to have A's and B's. It wouldn't be randomized like this was. You didn't have to play it. It was completely random. You could reload and have your presets available and just simulate it whilst you're going through your career mode save. The only bad thing, I guess, was it was just locked down to 5. So you kind of had to be really picky about who you trained. But once the FIFA 21 new training system came in, it kind of trained your entire team, put them in groups, but the results weren't randomized. So it was kind of just something extra you had to do, because if you wanted anything good to come out of the training, you had to play and get the best results. But this was kind of perfect. You just let the game do its thing and it got you the results eventually. So let me know down below if you missed the old 5-slot OG training as we move on to the next removed feature. Now, I didn't realize it before my FIFA 19 retrospective review, but the FIFA 19 diehards, the FIFA 19 fanboys will defend this game until their last dying breath. And now I kind of see why. I see the vision slightly. I'm not fully converted yet, but hear me out. It was the last installment of the trilogy, the Journey trilogy Champions. This was the last game with the Journey in it before it was replaced by VOLTA. And I guess that was a mode in of itself, but the features that came with the Journey, it was something special. It was something we'd never seen before in a FIFA game or career mode. Firstly, before we even hit the main menu, we got thrown into a 1960s football match, which like for the first time ever, we were able to play in like a different era of football. It was crazy. And you got to play as Alex Hunter's granddad in like these prime days. He was a baller back then, and you could see like all the players, they were playing with the old retro leather ball balls that they used to play with. The pitches were all muddy. The style of football was different. The players had different hairstyles, different haircuts. The retro fans in the stands, the old school English stadiums. And basically, you got thrown into this scenario, which is another classic feature I covered last time out, scenario mode. And here you were, Coventry 1-0 up against Man United in the 69th minute. The old school referees, Jim Hunter on the volley. Oh my god, they got you to retry this. They really wanted you to score. The pitch was all muddy and torn to shreds. And the TV has got that little filter on it, like that TV grain filter. The crowd are wearing like old school clothing too. The attention to detail in this like mini mode, you couldn't really access this unless you started up a new journey save. They put so much attention to detail into this, and I don't know why they didn't expand upon this in future iterations of the games, like playing in the 70s, the 60s, the 90s. This was like a journey exclusive for some strange reason. Even the old school timer, the old school clock, and I'm loving how they've perfectly recaptured this. No fancy broadcast packages or overlays. This was the true beautiful game in all its grit, in all its glory. And unfortunately for like the nostalgia merchants, this was the last iteration of FIFA we ever got to see this in action. And it plays differently too. They move so much slower, like it feels different. The gameplay, you can't hear it right now, but they also had the old school commentators from back in the day commentate this game just for the one-off. Like if you want to see a more in-depth coverage of it, I did it back in my FIFA 19 retro video, so feel free to check that one out. But I am more than happy to replay this, and I swear they've never put this much effort into anything ever again. And there's even mud on their actual body and like their hands. Damn, they got down and dirty back in the 60s. Forget GTA 5, FIFA 19 had character switching on lock, changing between 3 different players, 3 different playable heroes. You had Alex Hunter's cousin, Danny Williams, your rival, and they were all at different stages of their career, different storylines. Here's something like a background of your apartment, or like where you're living, your living space, I guess. That hasn't made its way over to player career mode, nor has your mentors. I think I was at Real Madrid, my mentor was Isco. I had 5 mentors, which was Varane, Toni Kroos, Marcelo, and Modric. And the 2 main important ones, the big ones, the customization system, which was introduced in FIFA 18 and carried over into 19, where you not only had your like playing kit and your general customization, but how you'd look like in the cutscenes, what you'd look like when you were doing press duties, or just the general other activities that would happen throughout the journey story. We also not only had exclusive hairstyles that were journey exclusive for some reason, but this game brought in tattoos like 4 or 5 years before EA would bring them in to Pro Club's customization and bring them back into the game, even though they were in the game since like FIFA 18. They just wanted them to be in the journey only. And another journey only exclusive was the social media tab, something which never made a return, never came through to career mode or player career, where you had not only your own personal profile with your followers, and like depending on what you did, you'd either gain followers or lose followers. You also had a little bit of a timeline going on, just like famous celebrities, pundits, players tweeting about you on the timeline. You've got Neymar saying, "This is my time." Your mum's tweeting about you publicly for some strange reason. Some people I don't even know who they are. Some randoms. You had some verified accounts like Alan Shearer. People like specifically tweeting about a certain game you were in. Again, a brilliant idea. It's only being added into FC 25, only with like Fabrizio Romano announcing transfer news. Nothing like about games or how your performances are going. This whole social media tab has been journey exclusive for so many years, and people have been demanding it to be back in the game. Again, the journey was innovative for so many ways, and it was just all for nothing because it never actually got implemented into real career mode. So once FIFA 20 hit, I guess all these new features and all the money and marketing they pumped into this just wasted away and never really benefited any other game modes. They're now slowly starting to add back in the likes of tattoos and the social media element. God, they're taking their sweet time. Like 5 years time, maybe in 10 years time, we'll have mentors in player career. Anyways, now I know we're in random order. This is kind of videos all over the place, but we're hopping on FIFA 18 for good reason. Now this feature is kind of a 2-pronger, and it's going to be the World Cup add-on DLCs, because at this time, the standalone games were no more. And the 2 FIFA installments that got the World Cup treatment was of course FIFA 18 with Russia 2018. It was low-key disappointing at the time because we were expecting like an additional standalone game, but this is all we got really. Just a free DLC update that had the actual World Cup tournament mode, a different version of Ultimate Team, which was kind of cool, an online tournament where you could face randoms or play your mates in friendlies, and just a normal kickoff exhibition mode. So there wasn't really much here to keep you busy, nothing really in depth. Of course, this was back when EA actually had the World Cup license and could make World Cup content. Now that enough time has passed, there's been a lot of nostalgia to come back to the World Cup 2018. All the good times, all the memories. Unfortunately, the servers are shut down, so you can't access any of these two features, but the offline features still work. And then in came the last FIFA title to get the World Cup treatment, FIFA 23, and this one was special because not only did it have Qatar 2022, but also had the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. Came with a double package, with Qatar obviously dropping around the summertime, and then the Women's World Cup later on towards the end of the FIFA 23 life cycle. The last ever FIFA game we'll ever get to see. The World Cup license, the World Cup trophy, all the official nations and kits with all the game modes pretty much had identical to what the 2018 one had, but it had this like FIFA World Cup Live where you could play the match of the day basically. It wasn't really a scenario mode or challenge mode like back in the day, but what it did add was some retro FIFA soundtrack songs from years gone by, some classics, pretty much the best of the best when it came to FIFA soundtracks. Like the classic FIFA tunes were added back into the game thanks to this World Cup mode, and to be honest, it was one of the best things that EA have ever done. You got to hear some classic FIFA tunes and play some World Cup FIFA, so it was a good time, but this was, unfortunately, we all knew it was coming, the last World Cup experience we're ever gonna get. And same with the Women's World Cup. This was the first and now last time they're ever gonna be in a FIFA game or FC game, and despite it actually lacking some online functionalities, it had one of the OG features from back in the day, Captain Your Country, or now as it was rebranded to Lead Your Country. So that was a first. It was like a My Player career mode experience where you got to create a player or take over a real player and just try to win the World Cup with them, I guess. It was pretty bare bones, but something that the men's DLC didn't get. And alongside that, a new stadium, which was in fact Stadium Australia, which still goes down to be one of the only Australian stadiums ever to be in FIFA, and it was exclusive to this mode, so it didn't carry over to FC 24. It was just removed. And for the Women's World Cup, they only scanned one out of like a possible 10-15 stadiums. It was a similar situation to the Qatar 22 DLC where they only had 2 out of possible 10 stadiums. I don't know, they started slacking off. They got real lazy with these. If they weren't the standalone games, they weren't going to put in the exact amount of effort in, but you had the trophy or the pageantry, the fans going crazy, the correct branding and broadcast packaging. So it was pretty fleshed out, but fleshed out to the bare minimum, if you know what I mean. If you could compare them to the OG World Cup games, this doesn't hold a candle to it. But again, I feel kind of bad because these are like removed features, like the national anthem and the teams coming out through the tunnel. The pre-match lineups are all removed now, but they're eventually got added back into the game for FC 25. But if you want that OG authentic World Cup experience, this is really the last time you can actually access it until a brand new FIFA game comes out. Who knows when? 2025, 2026. It's sad times, but hey, I guess the show goes on. Now, I already kind of low-key covered this in the last removed features video, so forgive me for a little bit of overlap, but this was the definitive sponsorship list that you got at the start of FIFA 09 career mode. Yeah, in FIFA 10 and FIFA 11, you got the choice of 3 or 4. Honestly, it's child's play when you compare it to this selection. You actually have some features we still haven't seen back in the game, like match ticket prices or player auto growth. And you also had like these trivia questions that would pop up when you simulate. Against which team did Inter Milan lose the 2002 championship? I think Milan? Oh no, it was Lazio. Okay, damn. My Serie A ball knowledge isn't on point today. Oh no, this one wasn't the one. I think it was FIFA 08. So I'm gonna have to change games. This career mode, I'm glad I actually went to it because it had this trivia that would pop up. And you really got to test your ball knowledge out. You got to learn a few new things. Like Kansas City won the first MLS championship in 2000, the year I was born. Alright, here we are in FIFA 08 on the Xbox 360. The most complete sponsorship list we've ever seen in a career mode, in a manager mode, as it was called back then. You clicked your way through and then you were dealt with a laundry list. You were offered up all these different companies that want to sponsor you, and it ain't the select 3 system anymore. You've got all different kinds of selections to choose from. They're all fake companies, but I guess it's the thought that counts. You've got the likes of radio stations like Jones FM, Jones Source, Kudo hair salons, like all different kind of random companies, like small businesses it seems. No sponsorship kit deals, but more just like random businesses that wanted to sponsor you. like Tomoko ski resorts. Basically, you could either choose on how much they gave you, like the most expensive being Jones Source with 428k, or Alan's Ace Body Shop with only 188k. Literally see the breakdown on the right there with the funding per match, your loyalty bonus, league bonus, and domestic cup bonus, so it was all broken down nicely for you. And it's sad to say that we have to go back all the way to FIFA 08 Manager Mode to see the biggest and best sponsorship options on a FIFA title. So we're just going to go with Vista Parks because why not? We got all the objectives we need to complete in order to qualify for the bonuses and all the money that they're promising us. So we sign the contract and away we go. And then every new season you get the chance to go through those companies again and see what they're offering. See if you want to change it up, if you want to stay loyal. Anyways, you had different kind of stats and attributes that your manager would uphold, not only with the board, but you had your manager prestige, which you could build up throughout your career save. You had your job security, which is kind of like your board rating now with the board objectives in modern day career modes. But you also had two other metrics of success, which was the fan appreciation. Like, where were you sitting with the fans? You might be sitting well in the board's eyes, but the fans might not like you too much for the way you play, your tactics, or the ticket prices that you could set back in the day. Right there in your staff upgrades, you could go high, low. Maybe if you put them too high, the fans would turn against you. And then you had your team chemistry, again a mechanic that moved its way on over to Ultimate Team and eventually was removed from manager and player career. So chemistry right now is sitting at a 63, and I guess the more you play, the more you train, the more the players grow, the better the chemistry will get, and depending on results and all that, there were just so many more key metrics and cool things that we haven't seen back. And this is FIFA 08. This is like over 15, 17 years ago, and it's just sad to see them not return ever since. So EA, bring them back. Yeah, who else remembers where they actually had like reputable news sources and like newspapers in the career mode menus, like Sky Sports right there. Anyways, the reason why we're in FIFA 13 career mode right now is for one sole purpose, and that is for the search filters. When you go in and buy a player, not only was there no crappy GTN scouting here, you basically got to see every player, all their attributes, their ratings, and all their stats were revealed to you straight away. So you already knew who the best players in the world were, who are the best new up-and-coming superstars or talents in your career mode world. But once you tuck into the left side of the screen, you can see once you refine your search, you not only can search for players within a certain attribute band, but you could also search by their minimum values, their estimated worth, their wages. Another one I find cool is that you can actually search from players that are injured or suspended, or you could specifically turn that on and say, I don't want any injured players to sign. You could search by not only their transfer values, but their wages. And you could search by not only their actual overall, but stats like acceleration, sprint speed. If you want a player with decent stamina, you can search specifically for that. Not injured or suspended, 25 to 50k a week. Can we get some results? Is this FIFA 13 search filters gonna come through for us? Okay, finally, there we go. We get some action. And basically, you've got a bunch of offers because we set the wages so low. They're all just older players about on the verge of retirement. But you get what I mean. The search filters were way more specific. You could tune them to your needs, really. These are old profile pictures back in the day, man. These were rough. He is staring straight into your soul. But I can't even see him. Did the EA know how to properly light photos? Anyways, it would be cool if we could bring back these search filters, because I believe they were removed in what, FIFA 14, FIFA 15? Because it's been a while since the search filters were updated. Another thing I low-key missed was not necessarily a career mode feature, more like a match day immersion, game day experience type thing. I think it was like FIFA 11 or FIFA 12 was the last time we saw this, but like basically before you'd enter a game, you're loading up into a new match, you'd be thrown into the practice arena, and then it would transition into the stadium you're playing at with all the fans there before the game, and you could just free roam and be in the practice arena a little bit before things got kicked off. And I just thought it was the coldest transition ever. It was actually so sick. I don't know why they got rid of it. Eventually it turned into skill games. You got to do skill games before the match and whilst you're waiting for it to load in, but nothing will beat just being one-on-one in the keeper in front of a packed out crowd at the Emirates or at Old Trafford. You had to be there kind of moment. It was a special niche feature which only certain players actually appreciate. And now the reason why we're on OG FIFA Street, or the last FIFA Street game to ever be released, FIFA Street 4 2012, is actually a mode and features that deserve its own video, which I've actually already covered on my Playing FIFA Street for the first time video. But it's the World Tour mode, which was basically like Create Your Club before Create Your Club got reintroduced back into the game almost, what, 10 years later in FIFA 22. You pretty much got to create your own futsal team and like tour the world basically, not only by customizing your own players, players, creating your own team name, but also when it came to the badge, when it came to the jersey. It was just so much more in depth, and I highly recommend you check that out because I actually go in depth into how the team crest builder and the team kit customization is better than what we have now, because this is the kind of mode they should have introduced back with VOLTA, but they didn't really replicate it, and it's just gotten lost in time. To think we got robbed of Create a Club for the next decade. Like, EA, come on, man. Like, you can't keep getting away with this. You can't do this to us. You could export your whole entire squad and play with them outside this World Tour mode. And also, the same goes with your Virtual Pro that eventually became your practice arena player you could ball out with. Now, here's a quick one. I don't actually have access to this game, but it's FIFA 11 on the PS2, where it had a trophy room feature where you could go in and take a look at all your accolades, all your trophies, all your silverware in one spot, and you could kind of go through and collect them like you usually would in real life. But for some reason, again, this feature has never made its way through to actual console mainline FIFA games, even though it's already kind of technically in the game, with pro clubs getting their own version of the feature with their trophy room. I've always wondered why it's never carried on over to player and manager career. Like, imagine you could see all your man of the match awards, all your player of the month awards in player career, and all your trophies in manager. Like, it would just be such a nice quality of life update. But for some reason, EA just keep holding it back, and don't be surprised if we see it in FC 25 or 26 down the line. Now, another matchday feature that has been stripped away from us in I wouldn't even say recent years. I feel like this one's been gone for a while. But whether you're in career mode, exhibition, literally pretty much any game mode, deep within the match setup, you could actually specifically go out and choose referees. The Manchester Derby, the referee is currently Alexei Borashkovsky. But once you go deep into the game settings, you could scroll down and choose what referee you had. Yes, they were all fake. They were all just randomly generated names and player and referee models, I should say. For example, Scott McBeanie. He wasn't just a pretty face. He had card strictness and foul strictness. So both of them were pretty lenient. So if you wanted to get away with murder, he's the one to choose for you. Everyone else, well, this guy, C. Mumple, he's pretty lenient too on both of them. But then you can get this guy, this Polish enforcer, Iglikowski, which was strict card strictness and strict foul strictness, both on the extremes. You couldn't get away with anything. It just ranged from lenient, strict, and average. Oh my god, this guy, Pennyfeather. Some of the names are actually low-key remember as well. Anyways, you're playing with fire if you enforce a strict referee in a derby. So, I mean, you play with this at your own risk, but it was just a cool feature and a cool variable to take control of back in the day. We don't even have any real-world referees in the game or anymore. I would say we've never had them, but it would be a cool feature. However, something else that was removed from later installments in FIFA 12 was hidden in the depths of player career mode, and it kind of doubled up as also pro clubs. When you create your own player, or virtual pro as it was called back in FIFA 12, you just create your virtual pro and boom, you load up into your my player save with your 6'10" beast, whatever you want to create, advancing through to your contract, signing it all. And once you hit the OG main menus of career mode, where it was all on one tab, you hit settings and go to virtual pro, where basically you just get this like achievements or like attributes flip book. So it had not only your current attributes, but the growth it would have throughout the entire season, how your rating changed depending on your position. So at striker, I'm a 66, but at center forward, I'm 65. And basically you had different areas of your game, like the arena, ball skills, defense, mental, passing, physical, shooter, goalkeeper, traits and celebrations, kit and appearance, where you'd have this progress bar. And the more you tick these off from beginner, intermediate to advanced, you'd unlock more things. Your attributes would get better, you get upgrades in certain positions. Once you scored 2 headers in a match, you'd get +2 heading, +3 penalties once you tucked one home. And you could even get achievements and like upgrade your pro by like just being in the arena. Let me know if you, my player enthusiasts, missed this, because yeah, you haven't got really anything like this anymore. It's all that skill tree system now. And this kind of gave you something to work towards, something to track. Oh, you'd unlock new traits. Okay, that's how it would work. But I barely played player career back in the day and still don't really. But this is a feature that I've heard people want back in the game. You had your like little profile photo hanging on by a little clip, and just the page turning animation. I don't know, just something so satisfying about it. You can flip through the whole book. You got the page number at the bottom. Every little segment and chapters had its own little drawing. You create 2 goals from crosses. You get +1 crossing. You get the idea, and they eventually get harder and harder, which the final boss of like the passing section would be 150 assists. God damn. It's giving me the same vibes as the OG transfer system, where you just have the little pen and paper. With my player, it was the old accomplishments book, so many different attributes to work towards, and so many things to keep track of. It really kept you busy. So you wouldn't even have to be in the main player career mode menus. Once you backed out, your virtual pro became your practice arena player, and then yeah, you hit one shot, you get +1 finishing, you can earn accomplishments whilst you're not even playing career mode, and just upgrade him throughout multiple game modes, pro clubs, player career. Oh, what was that? I have to juggle the ball 5 times, and I think I get 2-star skills or 3-star skills or something. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. The virtual pro accomplishment system, should we bring it back, or do you prefer the skill trees kind of unlock with skill points as you go type B? For me, being able to make progress throughout different game modes or cross game modes is just chef's kiss. And now this is the furthest we're going back. FIFA 07 on the PS2. An instant hood classic, some would say, and could go down as one of the best manager modes of all time. Now this installment is famous for many things, but one it definitely gets its flowers for in the career mode realm. The iconic player growth curve, which was pretty much a chart that gave you a prediction of how your player is supposed to grow in the next, 4 or 5 years. For example, right here, one of Everton's starting strikers at the time, BT, it was 79 overall, but predicted to grow +4 by the time season 2 hits. Then it would hit 84 by season 3, 85 by season 4, and you could see the rest of his career mapped out. It was just too far in the future for the game to make a prediction. It kind of gave you something to work towards or what to expect for your upcoming players, like Julian Lescott wasn't expected to grow whatsoever. It was just supposed to stay at 76 for the next 4 years. Meanwhile, Theo Walcott, who was one of the best wonder kids in the game at the time in 2006, was expected to grow up to an 89 rating by the time season 4 finished. So you knew he was a serious baller or a serious wonder kid on the rise. The growth curve, the growth chart, whatever you want to call it, hasn't made an appearance back in since FIFA 07, and it's a much needed return. What definitely needs to be re-implemented in a way. It's just something cool and adds an extra layer to the game, an extra layer to player growth. I know it's like, well, nowadays you already know their potential based on their potential status, or you just look it up online, but who knows, maybe Theo Walcott would have a major injury and then his expected growth curve could go down, the prediction will change. You could either see the deterioration of an older player, an experienced baller later down the line, or you can see the expectations and future potential of your newfound talents, whether they were already on your roster or in the youth academy. It was just a nice visual to have in the menus. We also had the OG visual sim before they took it out of the game, so you know, you had your own visual sim, had it all displayed out, both starting 11s, both lineups, and it would give you like a little description down the bottom. You could also change the speed and make it like 10 times faster and just fly through the game, which you can't even do when they brought back this feature in FIFA 21. Anyway, you can see the goals, you can see what's happening, you can slow it down to normal speed, and then you could actually jump into the game. Press X and you intervene. Do you want to intervene in the current game? Yes, throw me in there. A feature that was removed for years and brought back over a decade later without the same functionalities. I mean, you could jump in like I'm doing right now and try and change the outcome, but most importantly, you can't speed it up and slow it down. Something else you don't really get now is post-match you get a little budget breakdown or your financial analysis week to week. So after this match against Newcastle, we're at 500k in the red right now. We've got 150k from our sponsor. You can kind of see your budget breakdown when it comes to tickets, salary, sponsor, transfers, scouting, staff upgrades, tournament bonuses, and how that impacted your team chemistry, your job security, and the fan rating. That's not even the main reason why I wanted to come back to the main menus. Another key feature about these games, which I found so cool, was basically you could save your career but also export it, or if you had FIFA 07 on your PSP, which was a PlayStation Portable for those of you who are unaware or too young, you could pretty much export your save to your PSP and play with it on the go. And obviously I don't have a PSP on me, so I can't really link anything, but something you can do no matter what console you have is go through the team management. And let's say you've just built a God squad, or you built a team you're really proud of. Let's just say you're in year 10 of this road to glory and you've taken Bournemouth to become Champions League winners. You could export this team, name it pretty much whatever you want, and export it to your actual like FIFA 07 game. So you could use it in kickoff, tournament mode. You could play people or your mates with your team, and they'd all carry over like their attributes and ratings and ages. And I'm pretty sure at the time you could use that exported team online. And there you go, my exported career mode teams are there, ready to load back into the games. The team has been imported. You can find find a team within my league. Oh, there you go. Create a separate section for you in kickoff or when you're searching through all the teams. Obviously, it would serve more purpose when you'd actually gone deep into a career mode save and made a good team, but that was just there for you to showcase the actual feature, and that export team should really come back. There's no technological barrier to it. I mean, I explored it as a hidden feature in my online mods video, which was pretty cool. I was able to do it through some random glitch in a squad file, so it definitely is possible. And something else that FIFA 07 had to boast about was challenge mode, or FIFA 07 challenges, as it says right here. Basically, you get thrown in, you've got all your different regions, all your different areas on the globe, rest of the world section even gets some love, but then you've got endurance challenges and master challenges, which I've got no idea what that actually entails, but basically they were just extra versions of achievements or like little records that the game kept track of, like a 20 game win streak, or to win 50 games, win 100 games, and you eventually unlock these little trophies, unlock points with it that go towards the store. What was the master challenges though? Before the days of accomplishments or trophies, they were already built into the game. Basically, achieve an undefeated season in manager mode. Just realized you guys can't see that, but yeah, if you go undefeated in manager mode, it like keeps a record, keeps a track of it. Again, keeps that replay factor on loop, and you know, gets you to work towards something and stay motivated to play this throughout the entire year. It makes FIFA 07 even playable now without the servers, without being connected online. You had to win all these exotic leagues like the Turkish Cup, the K-League, the Polish League. It just threw you all over and gave you more like things to do in the game, I guess. Gave you more of a complete offline experience. Those points you earned by completing all the scenarios and challenges go toward the fan shop, which was like an early iteration of the FIFA Catalogue, which would come back into the game around FIFA 12, I remember. Unlock retro balls, retro World Cup match balls, third kits, which like should have already been in the game, but it was a nice reason to unlock them without having to pay money. No microtransactions back then. These were the good old days. Unlock new celebrations, pack 1, pack 2, practice stadiums. Anyways, that'll do it for FIFA 7. We're gonna now transition to a segment I like to call online FIFA web extras, and that comes in the form of the EA Creation Center and EA Sports Gameface. First up with Gameface, it was basically just a website you go on to upload a photo of either yourself, past and present players, and you were then able to apply it to your created players or virtual pros, either in pro clubs, player career, just creating players in general. And it wasn't just for FIFA, it was for all their other sport titles as well, so UFC, Madden, NHL, NBA. And you can see the Gameface feature just stopped, or like the website servers shut down back in FIFA 16. And I was messing around with it back in my like FIFA 16, I want to say my retrospective video in like 2020. I didn't realize I had like one of my old game faces still there. The servers were still up for FIFA 16. I eventually applied it in that video, and it kind of acted as like an accidental face reveal in a way. So take a look. Pro clubs, how's my pro? What are my stats like? Just like a FIFA 15 video, how we covered it. We're going into FIFA 16 right here. 127 games played, 73 goals, 23 assists. It was the last game to have the download and apply your game face. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. There have been changes to your game face download. Okay, I don't know if it's applied it. Has it applied it? Oh my god, it has, and I'm terrified. Oh, what is that? What is going on? Why? What is happening? Why is his cheeks so chubby? Damn, man, I was packing heat in those cheeks. Ew! What the fuck? Well, that was my game face, apparently. I never want to go back on FIFA 16 now. Thank you. My game face haunting me still to this day. To this day! You can pretty much upload your face, take some photos, or pretty much anyone's face in general, apply it to a player, and away you go. Obviously, the technology wasn't perfect at the time. Like, you could create some monstrosities. Like, things weren't looking picture perfect, but just imagine nowadays, with the technology at their disposal, they could reintroduce this and, you know, not only serve the FIFA community, but all their other sports titles. Like, so many sports gamers want this back, not just the career mode fans. It spans across multiple fan bases, multiple sports games, and for some reason, they just dropped this, removed it at the drop of a hat, and they had no explanation as to why it was gone. And the same goes with the Creation Center, where you could not only just create a player, create a team, but also create a unique tournament to add to FIFA 12. The remains of what the Creation Center was when it initially launched, and they really made a big deal about it. The FIFA 12 Creation Center blog post back in 2011 this dates back to, where you could create a player. Like usually you were able to do that anyway in the game, but this like web tool gave you a bit more controls, a few more extra features that you couldn't really do in the game player creator. So you had a new 3D widget for visualizing your appearance. They increased player combinations from 400,000 to over 2 billion, and you can edit more specific details about your player with this web app, such as contract length, international reputation, potential. It gave you so many more options and was pretty much a more in-detailed creation tool. That's when we move on to create a team, which we hadn't seen since like FIFA 07. So this was an amazing feature to add back in, but it wasn't actually in the game. You needed to go online, you needed to go on this website, create it all with your EA account, and then upload it so that you can then download it onto your FIFA 12 on your console. You were able to upload badges, crests, sponsors. You had a bunch of kit templates to choose from, and you could import whoever you wanted into your team. Real players, fake players, created players. The possibilities were endless. You could upload customized images and customized team logos. You didn't really just have to rely on the EA badges. And then last but certainly not least, it's create a tournament. However, what set this apart is it's actually better than what we have now. Like there was no real limitations. You could create up to 50 players, 50 teams, 50 tournaments, and there was seemingly no limits to what you could create. Like it was all free of charge as long as you were connected to the internet, had access to these websites. In create a team, you could even add a third and alternate kit. You could have up to 4 kits to choose from. And tournament mode allowed you not only to choose the specific match ball, but also the color combinations of the broadcast graphics in the tournaments you create. I didn't even think that was possible. But 12 years ago, it was all possible thanks to this one little website. And now, thanks to the Wayback Machine, I've been able to access of how the website looked on January 25th, 2012. Here is how it looked. You had the Creation Center, Gameface section, Ultimate Team. We won't touch on that, but these were the two main areas we wanted to focus on: the Creation Center and uploading your game faces. You had to sign into your EA account, and then you could feel free to create as much content as you want, create as many tournaments, as many players, as many clubs, and just let all your creativity out, all your ideas, and go in to individually tinker different details, all the different customization options you had to choose from. It really was the ultimate tool for the career mode diehards out there. Manage a career, play a career, no matter what, you were satisfied. And unfortunately now, it's just become a lost relic of the past, like EA Gameface, and something features that I don't think we'll ever see back in an FC/FIFA game ever again, unless you bring out your wallet and EA somehow figure a way to monetize these features and reintroduce them later down the track. I think they abandoned this project around like the 2014 FIFA 14 era, and then 2016 Gameface got the axe and just become yet another removed feature in this long list, this long laundry list of features that we desperately need to see a return. Anyways, lads, let me know down in the comments below, what kind of features do you want to see return back to the FIFA FC franchise? What were your favorites, and what have I missed out on today? Let me know down below. If you made it this far in the video, you're a real one. I love ya. Drop the video a like down below, hit subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that good stuff, so you never miss out on any of the content coming to the channel, because trust me, keep it locked and loaded here. You know where to find me. As always, I've been your boy Sir BCHD. Have a great day, and I'll catch you lot in the very next video. Bye bye.